What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be playing Ziggy above 1,000 trophies and testing out whether Ziggy's going to be broken, testing out his best builds and everything. So with Ziggy, I think it's the first time in a very long time a Brawl has been released on the weekend, and you can actually buy this in the Supercell store if you guys like for a lot cheaper, which I realized after. Like, I spent like £50 on this brawler and then I'm like, oh, why is it out in the Supercell store? Anyways, yeah, a lot cheaper there. Or you can do the Ziggy event and get this brawler for free potentially. So with Ziggy, they actually did a few things to change him before his release. So I think they buffed his damage, and they buffed, oh, what else did they buff? They buffed something else, and then they nerfed his attack delay. So I spoke about this nerf previously, but the reason why they nerfed his attack delay was because you could auto-aim every single shot. Basically, any brawler that had a normal movement speed, you could auto-aim. So, of course, that needed to be addressed and needed to be nerfed. But I'm actually in a position now where I'm like, was that nerf a little bit too much? I know I'm playing Brawl, so there's a few things we'll talk about first with his new brawler Ziggy. So we're just going to keep flying through every single game, and of course testing out both gadgets and star powers. But the first thing is the meta, right? So we've been talking about the meta for a long time. It hasn't changed for months and months, but if you take a look, I've got a list of the best brawlers in the game here. If you take a look at some of the best brawlers in the game, they just simply overwhelm Ziggy too much. You think of the broken hyperchargers: Kazi, Ollie, Bonnie, Cordelius, Hank, Kenji. Ziggy can't deal with basically any brawler that has like any type of mobility, fast movement speed, etc. They can just get too close to him. Of course, he's got his other gadget to escape, which might be better. So Ziggy, I feel like, would be better in ranked, right? Because you've got both gadgets. You've got one gadget that you can teleport away, which I'll use a little bit later on, and this gadget's just better against your typical control brawlers, just because it adds additional damage. If you guys don't know what this gadget does, it's kind of like a Ruff's gadget where he fires a bunch of artillery. Like, it's not always going to hit. Some of them are accurate, some of them aren't, but I think it's just good for overall zoning. But he definitely will need it to, because he lacks the DPS. So you can see just right here, like any type of mortis running in on you, any type of just anything running on me, I can't do anything about it. Literally anything. I've got no knockback, I've got nothing. And it kind of reminds me like a weird Grom, where he's just very easy to push into. So just bear that in mind with Ziggy. But of course, he's very fun, first and foremost. He's definitely very fun. He also hasn't got a hypercharge, whereas pretty much every single brawler in the game has a hypercharge. So he hasn't got that going for him. So I'm a little bit on the fence here. I'm like, where is Ziggy going to be good? Mainly because of the meta. It's like, okay, well, you want to go into hot zone where he might be better with control, but is Barley good there? And he's even got some defensive capabilities. Are like other throws good there? Not really. Maybe like Willow and I don't know, the twins could be okay there. So again, like, what am I even supposed to do against this? I really lack the damage, and I can't just auto-aim these people down. So we're kind of relying off our teammates here for the additional damage. I'm just here to kind of kill the control brawlers, but as you guys know, it is not a control meta, so the brawlers that Ziggy is good into. So what I'm basically trying to say here, I'm not trying to be negative about Ziggy, I'm not, but I just think until we get balance changes, which won't be until after Brawl Talk, more than likely, I don't think Ziggy's going to be in a position to like excel, because it's just too many aggressive brawlers. It's very hard to hit brawlers that are running at you. You've got to be, with Ziggy, very predictive in the way that you attack. You've got to be predicting every single movement. So again, it kind of reminds me like Grom. It's obviously easier to hit shots than Grom, but you got to predict pretty much every single shot, or else you miss. You pretty much can't auto-aim with this brawler anymore, which is fantastic. We'll switch build here in a second. We're already halfway through things. So yeah, again, I think the meta is going to be a little bit too aggressive. So his best game mode, I don't think it's going to be. He might be. There's a few good Brawl maps for him, right? You've got Pinball Drink. Basically any map that Willow and Barley are good on, this is kind of what Ziggy's going to feel like, but he'll have a bit of extra range. So it's kind of like this brawler that might be like just good everywhere. So I don't feel like he's going to be that good in knockout and bounty, mainly because you'd rather probably go other throwers in that situation. I mean, maybe bounty, but definitely not knockout, because longer range knockout throws would just be better. Again, like, I just don't really feel like I'm doing too much here. Vince is absolutely carrying at the moment. But let's actually try his other build and test things out. So I've tested it out a little bit. Like I said, I think if you're going to go into ranked, you might actually swap some of these. So you've got the second star power here. Second star power, I thought would be the better one, before, but then they nerfed this star power, so it used to deal 30% extra damage with your next shot if you hit it. So you hit a shot, then you get 30% damage boost, which used to be good, but I think it's pretty hard to hit. Oh, I forgot that I switched gadget there. It's pretty hard to hit shots consistently with this brawler, but I think it's still a good star power. I think overall this might be the better star power. But I've just been enjoying the slow a little bit more, especially against all of these tanks, because that additional slow, it just allows you, it just allows you to hit more shots consistently. So the way you want to use Ziggy is just abusing his super. That's how I found him. The more well, the first thing, it's hard to build up your first super, but once you get that first super, it's the same with a lot of brawlers, but make sure you're not wasting it. And especially if you're using a slow star power, what you can do is you save all 3 pieces of ammo, you use your super, and then you can auto-aim them once they're slowed down. So you can cycle you through your super. The super is by far the best thing about him. It's one thing I forgot to mention. But yeah, the super is very good for zoning. Just think of it of like a portable loose super in a sense. So imagine hot zone. Hot zone's going to be very good for him. Although the meta, you know, you got like Dracos and you got other brawlers that are a bit aggressive, like Cordelius, etc. He's still going to be a good zoning brawler. He's going to be a good objective player. So even in like Brawl Ball, he's going to get overran. But if you're in a good position with your super, it's basically unstoppable. Like if you're throwing your super towards the goal, what are they going to do? Again, you got like Mina, who's like super aggressive, who can literally dash with every single attack. How am I supposed to deal with this brawler? I don't know. How am I supposed to hit her first and foremost? It's not like, so for example, Barley might struggle a little bit against Mina, but you can just auto-aim Mina because you've got a big radius. But you can't really do that with Ziggy. Look how small the radius is. It's very hit or miss, of course it is. So I need to try and make a more aggressive play with my gadget here to showcase things off. Right, let's just maybe like gadget up to the left and then just super high. That might be a good play. So let's go here. Okay, we're gonna put that into the middle. So we see here, like they can't really go into the middle here because of the amount of damage they'll take. But I don't think even the damage is that scary. Without a slow star power, do they even, like they can escape it pretty easily. Again, high mobility brawlers are going to be the perfect counter to Ziggy because they can escape the super really easily. So you're probably only going to take like 1.4k damage, 2.8k damage, you know, a couple of ticks. That's not really a lot, is it? So yeah, maybe I'll teleport onto Jesse here. So you could make some really cool plays with this teleport. I think with a really short cooldown, it's got potential here. But anything that's just running down at me, I just don't have the damage. It's so hard to hit the attacks. It's crazy. You need like a slow meta. You need a slow map game mode. I don't know, but there aren't really many of those right now. And I think you've got an Ollie hype charge here as well. So I'm thinking because of this meta in particular, I'm going to start to make my predictions on how good Ziggy is. And I'm going to start, I honestly think in the middle of C tier. I'm just going to go say that. Like, the super looks broken. People are going to overreact about it. But I just clearly think after trying it, even just in Brawl Ball, it's so difficult to make things work. But I don't know how you would balance this brawler because, first and foremost, when Ziggy was released, you could just auto-aim every single attack. But right now, you just can't. So you're going to get run down pretty. You can see here, like I've got 27,000 damage as a thrower. And if you remember, like when Juju was released, when Larry and Laurie were released, you could pretty much auto-aim every single brawler down. So in terms of the best build here, I'm going to go with this setup instead and play a couple more games because I think the way that Zig is going to work in this meta, it's going to definitely revolve around the super, pushing up with a super and gaining control. Outside of that, easy to counter with like so any type of aggressive brawler, and yeah, just think of brawlers that counter Grom. Basically, it's going to be pretty much the same as Ziggy in my opinion. So yeah, in terms of my overall prediction, I'm going to go ahead and say in this particular meta, solid C tier. I think I overestimated him a little bit. I think the attack delay made it really difficult. Like I literally had a game where I was like 1-4. It went to overtime, and I think I got 40k damage, and then everyone else in the lobby had 100k damage. Stats, which of course I'm not saying like I'm a pro player, like I'm just completely, you know, this brawler I should be able to carry if they're good enough, of course, but I just get the feeling. I get the feeling. I don't know what it is, even after just playing for a day. Maybe like, you know, of course, Brawl Ball with BBs, Mortises, every single lobby, Kenji's every single lobby. It's not going to be the greatest of indications. Of course, we will tell once this brawler comes out in ranked. But I just think the counters are too clear. For a thrower, normally throwers, you're gonna get countered by those assassins or whatever else, but in the past when throwers were good, it's because they could defend themselves against those aggressive ideas. So again, you've got the twins, they could defend themselves really well because of the twins' supercharge rate was really fast. You also had Juju, right, with Grigri. Well, Grigri, super fast charge rate, and you could defend yourself easily. I think even the super with Ziggy, I don't think it's really like a tank counter, you know what I mean? It's like tanks, if anything, can just run through it. They can literally, in their name, they can tank the damage because it's not a whole lot of damage. It's more so like position and map, pushing it back. So let's play one last game here. You can see here I didn't really hit many shots. Brawl is always harder for a throw or control brawler. I'm just a little bit on the fence here about Ziggy, but let me know, guys. I think Ziggy will be pretty fun, but at the same time, maybe a bit frustrating because of its attack delay, but there's definitely a fine line. This is why I think a brawler like Ziggy will be hard to balance in a sense, because you've got this broken super, and then you've got the potential to have a broken auto-aim attack. It's kind of like Grom, right? It's what it reminds me. That's why I've mentioned Grom so much, because Grom, when he was first released, you could auto-aim pretty much everything, or just you'll be able to hit so much up close. And then they nerfed it, and this is kind of what's reminding me of Ziggy, because it's Ziggy when I was playing on Deathfield was absolutely broken. I'd be like spamming auto-aim against bots and just killing everything. But now it's like it's a lot more skillful, which is great, but this doesn't mean that Ziggy is going to be any good. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Analyzing, we got to like 1,100 trophies with Ziggy, but I've got a lot of things to do today, so I haven't got the most time. But I've been playing Ziggy for like 3 hours, and I've been losing a little bit because again, there's just so many mortises and BBs. If I'm left alone on defense against a single mortis or a single B, I'm not going to be able to defend whatsoever. So that makes me feel like Ziggy's not going to be the best. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. This is going to be the best build overall. I think both star powers and gadgets are definitely good with Ziggy, but yeah, pretty decent. Not the best, but I think once the balance changes come in, hopefully hyperchargers get nerfed, and hopefully a bunch of hypercharge brawlers get nerfed. I think Ziggy might be pushed up, and I think he probably is deserving of a few buffs, probably like a small radius increase, maybe some more damage buffs, so at least like the hard to hit shots are a bit more rewarding. I don't think there's enough damage in these shots, to be honest. So yeah, that's going to be it. A little bit underwhelming for me, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.